Now to the war in Ukraine. Kyiv has raised an alarming warning about the consequences of its potential defeat against Moscow. In fact, Kyiv says there will be a third world war if Ukraine loses its conflict with Russia, and it has urged the United States Congress to pass a long-stalled aid bill. Now, House Speaker Mike Johnson has announced he will bring the $60 billion Ukraine aid package for a vote this Friday, along with additional aid package for Israel and Taiwan. Speaking to the media, Ukraine's Prime Minister said the global security system would collapse if Kyiv is not protected and it falls. Earlier, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said if Russia won the conflict, it would invade NATO nation Poland next, triggering the Third World War. But Russia has ridiculed Ukraine's claims as fear-mongering. In fact, just weeks ago, Russian President Vladimir Putin dismissed suggestions that Moscow might one day attack Eastern Europe as complete nonsense. Meanwhile, calls to support Ukraine's defense against Russian strikes have grown. President Joe Biden has said he strongly supports the aid package being voted on later this week. Now, opposition from within the Republican Party certainly stalled the spending bill for months. But in speaking to reporters, Speaker Johnson has finally given his support to the full aid package. Ukraine is critically dependent on weapon supplies from the United States and other Western allies. And even though badly needed aid is on the horizon, Kyiv says months of congressional impasse have already had severe effects on the battlefield. Ukraine's forces have been outmanned and outgunned by Russia and have been forced to retreat in some places. In February, Kyiv's troops retreated from Avdiivka, a town near occupied Donetsk. And on Wednesday, at least 18 people died when 3 Russian missiles hit Chernihiv in northern Ukraine. Rescuers were seen removing mountains of rubble from the site. The attack prompted fresh pleas for allies to boost Kyiv's air defense systems. And on Thursday, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken called on U.S. allies to maximize their efforts against Russian aggression. He met Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba on the sidelines of a G7 meeting in Italy.
In this moment, it is urgent that all of the friends and supporters of Ukraine maximize their efforts to provide with Ukraine with what it needs to continue to effectively defend itself against this Russian aggression. If Putin is allowed to proceed with impunity, we know he won't stop at Ukraine, and we can safely predict that his aggression will continue. Other would-be aggressors around the world will take note and unleash their own aggressions, and we will have a world of conflict, not a world of peace and security.
Now the EU's top diplomat, Josep Borrell, said European countries must send their anti-missile systems to Ukraine and not just rely on the United States to help Kyiv.
But not only the U.S. We cannot only rely on the U.S. We have to take our responsibility and stop saying, oh, the U.S. will do. We have to do. We have Patriots. We have anti-missile systems. We have to take them from our barracks where they are, just in case, and to send to Ukraine where the war is raging. And I'm sure we will be doing that, but we have to be done quickly.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz also urged EU leaders to follow Berlin's lead and send Ukraine more Patriot air defense systems.
The Russian war of aggression continues unabated with great brutality, and we know that we must do more than we have done so far to support Ukraine. This applies in particular to all the air defense capabilities required. Germany, which has already supplied 2 Patriot systems, has decided to supply another one. This is directly useful for Ukraine. But we also want to encourage others to do the same.
NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg called on member countries to strain their stockpiles in offering support. Earlier this year, NATO said it will increase targets for stockpiling ammunition. But Kyiv is burning through shells much faster than Western countries can produce them. So while the West's ammunition stockpiles are already depleted, Ukraine's need for arms is only increasing, and keeping up with the demand is turning out to be a serious challenge for Ukraine's allies. From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America.